Here's a quick tutorial on how to add textures to your South Park animations. So first off, in the description I'll go ahead and link where I got all of these texture files. However, one problem that I came across whenever I was using all these texture files, if you notice, there is a lot here, like a lot. And while it's still good to come back and use these, like for example, if I needed to do Towley, this would be the perfect one to use. Like, I would never try to use any other thing for it. Or there was aluminum foil for one of them, and that's the way to go for Professor Chaos. When it came to just trying to texture the characters, there were so many different colors to do, especially when it came down to Tigrity Farms Randy. Like, look at all these different shades, all the different colors and everything, and trying to look through all of these texture files and color match it was a nightmare. It took so long trying to get this done, and so I had to look for another way. So while you are welcome to go ahead and use these texture files, I'm going to show you really quick how you can make these so you can color match the character a lot closer. Though keep in mind that they'll probably be darker or lighter than the color pick, so if anything you may want to just make it lighter or darker on purpose so that it'll match it. Let me show you what to do real quick. So first off, you may be able to do this in Photoshop or some other program similar to that, but I use Fire Alpaca. So what you want to do for this is you get the reference of the character that you want, and then you get your color picker. So for this, let's say, okay, I want to get Samantha's jacket color. So I color pick the jacket color. You see that it appears right here. I go to another file, and I did 256 by 256 because that's what size the texture files were. So I'm just gonna start over here. Okay, so I have a blank layer here, and I have this color picked. So what I do is I create a square shape here, because whenever I try and just paint fill it, well, the paint filling works too. Sometimes it doesn't for whatever reason, and then I'll just use like the square and then fill it there. But if the paint bucket decides to work, then great, use that. And then what I'm going to want to do is create another layer here, and you change the blending to multiply. And I'm going to put it at either like 20%, 30%. I usually don't go above 40 or 50%, but that's if you really want it to have that texture. So this is just to get the basic construction paper type look to it. So then what you want to do is you go up to Filter, and then Sand. Make sure that you are on the top layer. Alright, so you can barely see anything that happened here. So we can try bring it up more and kind of see more that's happening there. It does with a little bit of lightness to it. You can decide to do 30, 40, 50, whatever you want to do for that. Really, this is a bad color that I used as an example, since it's really light, but it will show some sort of texture to it. So let's go ahead and do this darker blue color. Go ahead and go through this again so you can see it. So, and you do have to delete it every time, because one thing that I had tried doing, let me go ahead and bring these back. If I were to just color over this and leave the sand layer like it is, if you could see on here, it still has a light blue. So that comes as a problem when you're trying to make it sandy. So you want to delete that top one, re-add it, do multiply again, around 20, 30%, whatever you want to do for that. Filter, sand. Alright, and if you can tell, it does somewhat of a texture to it. Okay, let's say that we want to go 30. Okay, so that does it a lot better for that. So then what you do is you go File, Export. You could do Save, but that just makes it to where you save the Fire Alpaca file, so you can go back and edit it later. The Export is what makes it the file you're able to use. So for this I usually just do PNG. I don't have it check marked with fits following size because I just want it to fit the size that it's in already. The other option you have here is JPEG, bitmap, or PNG. It doesn't really matter because it'll make it a bitmap file when you put it into Adobe Animate. So do this, okay, and then give it a color name. So for this I usually just say, okay, so Samantha Blue, let's say this is 2, since I'll be doing the jacket for 1. Okay, you go over to Adobe Animate, you get back to Samantha, and then you go up here where you have the color thing, the whatever you call that, the palette thing, Anyway, and then here where it says solid color, drop down and bitmap fill. So I already have all of these textures here. What I'm going to want to do is press import and then find, or just type in Samantha Blue 2, open, and you'll see that it just added it. So it should be this one right here. So you click this to color pick it, and you'll see that right here and right here, that's where it color filled it for the bucket. So since this is already a symbol, double click to go into it, go to your paint bucket tool and paint. And it may be a little hard to tell, but it did go ahead and add that texture to it. So on this one it is harder to tell, but like for example on this hat you can definitely tell there's a texture to it, and sort of with the face you can tell as well. So again, if you want it to be way more pronounced, then you can use the other texture things, but like for example with Stan, I think it came out pretty well, I'd say, especially with this blue here. So since I'm not seeing it as much on here, I may actually want to go back to this and make it more pronounced. So if I want to do that, let's say that I do it to 40. Okay, doesn't need to be quite to 50. It's a scarf, so maybe. But either way, you can change it on the fly here. So let's try 40. Go ahead, export. And what you want to do here is you want to save it as the same file. So with this, do Samantha Blue 2, you overwrite it, yes. And then when you go over to here, color pick, bitmap fill, import, and you import the same file, it'll ask you if you want to replace existing items. You say replace, and you'll see it change right here. Bump. So now I added a little bit extra of that texture. So if I felt that it still needed more, then I could always go back and just edit it again. And that's basically how you do that. So to make it to where the thing matches, because as you can see it's got the lighter outline here from when I changed it. So I don't know why, but my Flash program's being a little weird and making it to where I have to hold down Shift when I use the eyedropper tool. When I do that, it'll copy both of these. So, and for whatever reason I can't do it while I'm inside the symbol, I have to do it outside of it. So either way, so you go into it, and then after color picking, you do the ink bottle tool, and then do not do inside of here, because if you do inside of here, boop, then all of your blacks and everything else is gone. So what you want to do there is just do it on the individual lines. And if you mess up, you can always do Control Z. So, and then that's how you do it. And I may have actually not done it to all these parts. No, I didn't. Okay. And then down here. And there we go. Perfect. And just rinse and repeat. Do that to the rest of it. And that's how you do it. Hope this tutorial helped. The next one that I will show is actually how to export the video files. Since once you finish making an animation, you probably want to export it for the world to see, put it on YouTube, whatever it is you want to do. So if you'd like more tutorials like this one, or to watch the South Park animation I've been working on, then pounce on that subscribe button. Add the little bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new video. Have a great day and keep your claws sharp. Bye!
Tell me like a Hellcat.